Welcome to another edition of Church Media Design TV, tips, tricks, and how-to for you, the church media designer. I'm your host, Brad Zimmerman, and I come to you every week with tips and tricks on video and web and an assortment of media that we're going to use to increase God's kingdom. We want to use this media to effectively share the story of Christ, and that's the only goal. There is no sub-goal. That is the only goal because we've been sent out to do that, and we're going to use the tools that are around us to accomplish it. Every week helping me out is our favorite friends. It's the three wise men of Jesus. We have a very matchy little whitey, Dwight Schrute, who is angry that he is not the co-manager of Scranton, Colonel Sanders, the King of Chicken, and of course, Jesus Christ, the Son of the Lord Most High. Well, in this week's episode, we're going to get away from video. We've been doing looping backgrounds the last 4 weeks, and now we're going to step into the world of kind of management of your church and talk about transitioning your church over to Google Apps for document sharing, calendars, and email, and how that can be helpful or not helpful, and kind of some of the situations I've been in lately. So it's going to be a great episode. One real quick thing, keep checking out ProPresenter.com for the latest news on cool stuff that's coming out with that. I just checked again, and they just got great stuff every single time, and I'm working on trying to get a copy of that so I can have a review ready when it comes out. So if you're at ProPresenter and you want to get me one, that'd be great. So if you guys are ready, and I know the three wise men and Jesus are ready, so let's get into it. Let's grab you guys some resources from the stockpile this week, and the first one is from 6revisions.com, and this is 10 top-notch CSS editors. Now, I am way overloaded with work right now, and I've been trying to get a new website up, but it hasn't been going very fast. But in my pursuit of getting that done, I've been looking for some great web help, and this is a great list of CSS editors, and I think these are all free. So check these out. They're for Mac and PC, and yeah, they're totally free. Next on the list is Church Tech Talk. Our friends Jason and Perry and Steve and all the guys over at Church Tech Talk, they're switching over to video. They've been an audio podcast for 3.5 years now. They've been doing this longer than pretty much anybody else in the church that I know of. And they're making the transition over to video, so probably by the time you see this, they may be releasing a video episode, their first video episode. But for now, you can check out sessions from Gurus of Tech that they have, and they have a nice little advertisement for us on here, which is pretty cool. And make sure to check out stuff I can use because they've added a whole bunch of free stuff there. And speaking of Church Tech Talk, Nick Hayes, twitter.com/callmenickHayes, I sent him a message because our pastor broke our Countryman headset mic, and it kind of snapped and busted, and I was like, I don't have any money to buy a new one. That's a lot, and I don't think we can afford it. And he's like, we got to do it. It's something we have to have. So I called up Nick and I said, hey, what's the best mic to use? Is Countryman the best? Are there any other alternatives? And he's like, no, Countryman or this other mic, everything else is crap. And I was like, well, where's the best place to buy it? And he pointed me to Northern Sound and Light, which is northernsound.net. And you can shop by brand. He's like, the website looks horrible, but they actually do a really good job, and their prices are great. And the Countryman headset that I purchased was like $275, and it was listed at like $500 or something crazy. So I thought it was a really great deal. So I just wanted to point you guys towards that website. If you're looking for getting some sound needs met, check out northernsound.net. And then last but not least, get yourself some free stuff over at the videocopilot.net blog. They have free grunge projects that were based off of his Ancient Titles tutorials. But these are some really nice looking presets. And this is really good stuff to use for like just a quick intro or outro to like a video interview or something like that. So go check out those from videocopilot.net. Check out northernsound.net. ChurchTechTalk.com, and 6 revisions for 10 top-notch CSS editors. So just recently, there's been a lot of talk on Twitter and on the web about how Gmail is failing. And right about that time, I started experimenting and hearing about how Gmail was failing. I was like, why are so many people using Gmail? It seemed like every single Twitter follower that I had was talking about how their Gmail was down. And I'm like, why is everybody using this? And then I started thinking about how much email is this big pain in my butt, and I'm just getting sick of it, and how it just takes way too much time for what I really do. And I'm like, I got a smartphone, and why is this not easier? And also, our staff had gone through some transitions. We've added new staff members, and our administrative assistant was now managing more people's calendars, and we were trying to decentralize information a little bit more so that everyone can access stuff when they don't work in our office. And so this presented me to a place of saying, we got to figure out a better way of doing this. So I started looking into what Google had to offer, because I was like, well, let me try this first. And so what I did first is I said, I'm going to kill Outlook. I don't use the calendar in there yet. I've used it a little bit, but I wasn't utilizing it. So I'm like, I don't need to even worry about getting that online, but I can get my email up there and switch over to Gmail. And then I can check my Gmail from everywhere on my phone, or when I'm away on other computers, because I use a couple different machines. And so I was like, I'll use Gmail, and that'll make things better. And so I started using Gmail, and I was like, this is good. I like this. And I was talking to a friend about it, and he was talking about Google Apps, and I was a little confused. I'll just be straightforward on that one. I was like, yeah, I'm using Google Apps. You got Docs, and you got your Google Reader. And he's like, no. Google Apps is like they take over everything. And I was like, oh, that makes sense, because, yeah, it made sense to me. So I started investigating into what it would look like for our church to switch over and have Google basically be in charge of our email, our calendars, and some document sharing. And so a lot of churches are doing this, but to those of you out there who aren't doing it, I wanted to share how this has kind of affected us, and how we're moving forward with it, and how it's helpful and not, and some things that you might want to consider. So the first things first is the type of account that you're going to use. Now, if you go to google.com/apps or google.com/a, it'll take you to this page, and it's like more than 1 million businesses running on Google Apps, and it's like $50 a year, begin your free trial. And it's like, I don't want to spend any money. Isn't this free? And it is free through a bunch of different things. So you can use the standard version. Anyone can use the standard version. It gives you up to 50 users and gives you all the regular stuff. You just only get 50 users. And there's, I think, a couple limitations here and there on some other extras that aren't too big of a deal. Or if you're a church, you can sign up for the educational edition, and then in the process it'll say, hey, are you a nonprofit or education? And then you say you're a nonprofit, and you have to provide your 501(c)(3) stuff and all your nonprofit credentials, and then it will verify that those are real and synced up with your name correctly, and you'll be able to sign up as a nonprofit. So for our church, I already signed us up with as a nonprofit, and I'm signing up Church Media Design today as a standard account. And so if you want to get to that, you can just do other editions and do standard here, and it will show you, what you get, and you can get started. They want you to pay, but you don't have to, so don't pay for it. So I've already started this process a little bit here, and I'm just going to quickly sign in and keep the process moving along. So, well, I already started a little bit. Basically, I just put in our regular information. I'm going to activate Google Apps, and one of the things you need to do is verify that you own the domain. So I'm just going to upload an HTML file to ChurchMediaDesign.tv to show that I own it. And so I'm going to go in here, and it just is saying create an HTML file with called this, and then copy this stuff into it and upload it to the main directory. So I'm just going to copy this into Notepad++, and then I'm going to save this as, and I'm going to go here and grab this just so that there's no question about my spelling, and save this to my desktop. And this is what Google is going to go use to verify my domain. So I've already logged on to my server. Let's go to desktop. Okay, so here we go. I'm just going to upload this. I'm already connected to my server via FTP. If you don't know how to do that, ask somebody at your church who does, because somebody should know how to do it. And now I've completed the steps above, and now we can launch the guide, or I can skip this guide. I'm actually going to skip the guide and kind of walk you through. So everything is active. The only thing that's not active is email. And email activation requires you to do some things on your server side. And so I host with Media Temple. A lot of you guys host with different hosting companies. And to get some of this stuff working, you do have to be able to log in and change some things in your control panel. So sometimes if you're with GoDaddy, you can just log right into GoDaddy and just do it right there. For some of these things, I had a couple questions about it. All I did was search Google Apps in the name of my hosting company, and right at the top of the Google search there was somebody's web post about how to do it. So we're going to go first, and we're going to set up some forwarders to forward us to the right pages. And basically what this will look like, I'll just show you real quick. If I go to, let's say, calendar.iammarked, oops, that's too many M's, iammarked.com, you can see it brings me right to Watermark Church's Google Calendar, and it forwards me right to that page. So we're going to just quickly go set those forwarders up. I'm in Media Temple's account center here, and I'm going to edit a DNS zone file. DNS zone files are basically, they help redirect you from either an IP address. So here's the actual physical IP address of ChurchMediaDesign.tv. If we copy this into a browser, it'll take us to the CMD website, or it should have taken us to the CMD website. Anyway, but that's how that stuff works. So right now you can see that our MX record, which is our mail record, is just set up here, and you can see it's 10mail.churchmediadesign.tv. And then there's some other things in here. There's also a CNAME record, and this is actually doing some feed burner stuff for me. But we're going to add in some new ones. And I'm just going to pull up a quick link here to show you where I found some of this stuff at. Where are we at here? Okay. So this was the article that I found and talking about MX records. But basically what we're going to do first is we're going to add a new record, and this record is going to be a CNAME. And the name of this record is going to just be mail.churchmediadesign.tv, and we're going to forward this. You can see in here it kind of shows you what to do, but we're going to forward this to ghs.google.com. Now I'll show you how this works in just a second fully, but so we're just going to do ghs.google.com. And all of these end with a trailing period. You don't have to do that because it automatically does it for you, but still a weird thing that you have to get used to. So I'm going to add another record here. We're going to do this one as calendar.churchmediadesign.tv. Again, I'm just going to do that GHS, and this is a CNAME. So this is just a forwarder that just forwards you from one page to another. Then we're going to do docs. And again, paste that in, CNAME, and then we'll do one last one, which is, what's the other one that they recommend? Those are the three biggest ones that you need to do. They also recommend doing webmail as well as sites, web pages. I'm going to do start though. So let's go back here, and this will bring you to your start page. And we'll paste that in and change the CNAME, and then we're going to hit save. So it's saying some things have been changed, and we're going to hit OK because we know we made a record for mail.churchmediadesign.tv already exists. And so I'm going to actually delete this guy, and we should have done that first, but we're going to delete and hit save. And now we should be good to go. So now if we go back into our Google Apps, what we're going to do is we're going to click into Calendar, and we're going to change the URL. So instead of going to google.com/calendar/hosted/ChurchMediaDesign.tv, we're going to go in here and we're going to say, let's do a custom one of calendar.churchmediadesign.tv. We'll hit continue, and we've already changed over. This is the how to change your CNAME, and we've already done that. And I've completed these steps, and after we've completed those steps, now we're good to go. Now this might not happen instantly, but we'll just check it out. So we're just going to do calendar.churchmediadesign.tv, and it's saying that it's not found, but it's saying it's not found because it hasn't had time to propagate it yet. If I would wait a little while, it'll actually go through. It just takes a little time for some of these things to show up and to work. So basically you just need to go through and do this for all of your different things. So we would go to docs and we would say change URL, and then we would hit continue after saying do a custom one, and I've completed these steps. And so you would just continue doing that with all the different ones. So those are some forwarders you need to set up. Now this is how to set up your mail to make sure your mail is working correctly. One thing that I'll say right now is that you need to set up all of your users first before you switch your mail over, because it will disrupt your mail and it will take a little bit of time to get this switched over. But I'll just show you quickly the records that you need to change, and I'll actually show you this via the setup guide. So we'll just do continue setup guide, and this is going to bring us to a whole setup guide. We're going to do setup mail, and we're going to go in here and we're going to do one-time switch, and it has a whole list of providers in here that you maybe use for your hosting and can show you how to set yours up. But we can go to general MX record instructions, and what it's going to tell you to do is to set up these 5 different values for MX records. And this is basically what this changing right here, what this guy says as well. So all you're going to do is inside here we're going to add a new record, and this is going to be a new MX record. We need to delete this one first. I'm not actually going to switch over just this moment, but we're going to just leave this Church Media Design TV, and then we are going to go back to configuring, and we're going to copy those values, and we're going to paste them right in here. So all it is going to be is and you'll see we got some extra space in here, but it's just going to be one space and then all of this and then the trailing dot. And so you're just going to add in all of these different records and hit save, and your mail will be switched over. I don't want to make that change right now because my email's still live and I can't necessarily do that. So we're going to wait on that, but that's how you get that set up. And just make sure before you start doing it that you delete this record and then you start adding all of these in. So we're going to just hit cancel for a second. The one other thing you need to do is you need to go into your domain properties, and someplace, depending on your hosting company, we actually have to enable disable email. And so to get our email working, I need to go find Church Media Design TV, and I need to disable mail in my control panel to make it work right. So that's how to get your mail working. That's how to do some of your redirection of pages. We can actually try refresh this and see if it goes through. Doesn't look like it's going through. Let's try docs real quick. It looks like that one's finding it. Sometimes it just takes a little while for it to refresh, but you can see I'm logged in as the admin and it brought me right to my Church Media Design Docs one. So the calendar one just hasn't quite hit the servers correctly yet, but Docs is working, so we know that our redirection of pages is working. So that's just a nice thing for your staff to be able to know where to go, and it's really simple and easy, and it's more branded for your domain. So now you actually need to go in and create all of your users and all of your accounts. And so what we're going to do is we're going to go to users and groups, and we're going to create a new user. You actually can create multiple users using a CSV file. To show you an example here, we're just going to create one at a time right now. So I'm just going to do create new user, and I'm just going to call this my test account. And And we're going to just use this, and this is just going to be test at ChurchMediaDesign.tv. And we're going to set a password for this because I know what I want it to be. You can always do a temporary password. We're going to create new user. You can always do a temporary password, and that'll prompt you to reset it. We can edit settings for test, and you can see in here you can require a change of password next sign in. We're not going to do that, and we can add in nicknames. Now this is a cool thing. This is like email aliases. So maybe we want a alias of tester, and so we can hit save changes, and now any email that's sent to tester will also be sent to test. And so if you have, John spelled Jon instead of John, you can do it that way. And so that's how you create those accounts. So you'll want to go through and set up all of those accounts. And next week, we're going to talk about email, how to get that set up, and a few things that you're going to have to work through in getting your email working. So tune in next week for that one. And we got a lot more up next. This week's inspiration isn't really motion graphics. It's just very interesting to look back to the past and see what we thought the future might be like. And boy, sometimes we're pretty close. So check it out.
Have you ever borrowed a book from thousands of miles away? Across the country?
Gesture ahead. Take next exit.
Without stopping for directions?
Route 101.
Or sent someone a fax? From the beach? You will. And the company that'll bring it to you, AT&T. Have you ever paid a toll without slowing down? Bought concert tickets from a cash machine? Or tucked your baby in from a phone booth? You will. And the company that'll bring it to you, AT&T. Have you ever opened doors?
I'm home.
With the sound of your voice?
Our card, please.
Carried your medical history in your wallet?
Your wife's gonna be just fine.
So this is where we stand on the atrium.
Or attended a meeting?
I really like what you guys have been doing, but
in your bare feet?
I may have a few other ideas.
You will. And the company that'll bring it to you, AT&T. Have you ever watched the movie you wanted to, the minute you wanted to? Learn special things.
That's all taken from jazz.
Now any questions? From faraway places.
Oakland?
So where did jazz come from?
Good question.
Or tucked your baby in from a phone booth? You will. And the company that'll bring it to you, AT&T.
So this week's freebie is not a motion loop for the first time in a while. It's actually a series package. I'm going to give you guys the editable PSD file for this, as well as still graphics of, and I'll make it in widescreen and in full screen, the stills, but the PSD file will just be in widescreen. And this is for a series, just a 1 week series that we did called Wonder, and our pastor wanted something kind of just wondrous and that kind of deal. So this is, you can see the graphics behind me, and you guys can download this from the website, edit it. I'll let you know what font it used and all of that kind of stuff, so you guys can change this and use it as you will for, a series for your church and save yourself some time. So go download that from the website today, and let me know if you guys like these series backgrounds and series packages, because I'm going to give away a couple more over the next couple weeks. Well, we wanted to quickly say thank you to one of our sponsors, which is danzinkandtoner.com. If you haven't heard about Dan Zink and Toner, it's a great way to save money. So head over to danzinkandtoner.com or give Dan a call at this number here, or you can find his email address, dan@danzinkandtoner, and Dan will help you figure out what's right for your church and your situation, whether it be the wholesale program where you get really cheap ink and toner wholesale costs, or maybe a leasing program where you can get a full service where it covers maintenance and the whole 9 yards and get you guys a new printer or multi-machine, not a fax machine. People, who uses fax anymore? I know you guys do. But anyway, so check out danzinkandtoner.com and give him a shout. And you can sign up for the store at the website and a whole lot more. So check it out. Thanks for tuning in to another edition of Church Media Design TV. Hopefully you guys learned a little bit about Google Apps today. We're going to be talking about getting your mail up and running on Google Apps next week and what that entails and kind of some things that I ran into along the way that might help you guys out. So hopefully you guys enjoy that. Let me know what you think of this show, and I'd just love to have some feedback on what you guys think. One thing you guys can do is head over to the website, download some free stuff, check the show notes for multiple weeks. The last 4 weeks we've been giving away, video loops as well as many other weeks, and get this week's freebie, as well as you can go to the store.churchmediadesign.tv, get yourself a t-shirt, not a free t-shirt, you got to buy it. There's limited quantities, so if you want one, you need to go get it soon. I don't know when we're going to be making another t-shirt, so make sure to go get yours because they're limited edition and you may not get your chance in the future. So make sure to go check that out. As well as you can go to ChurchMediaDesign.tv/subscribe to subscribe for a newsletter. Follow me on Twitter, twitter.com/CMDTV, Adam CMDTV, Brad at ChurchMediaDesign.tv, Adam at ChurchMediaDesign.tv, and you can check out where Adam's working these days at www.ancross.com. Confusing to say. Kind of catchy though. So find out more about that, and thanks for tuning in. We'll see you guys next week. As for me and the three wise men and Jesus, it's been a pleasure.
For you.